I think it's important for everybody to know where they come from. Everyone has a basic right to know their roots. It defines your existence. I always had the feeling Miriam and I were not biological sisters, that we didn't have the same parents. Always. It's very strange to have people tell you that you're biological sisters when somehow you know it's not true.
Indonesia, September 1979. It's adoption day, and two little girls are being picked up from a children's home by a Dutch couple. They're given new names, Miriam and Dorrit. Supposedly they're sisters, but 41 years later, a DNA test would prove this was not true.
When you have the information in black and white, it really hits you hard. I didn't expect that. It really affected me.
According to the test, the two are not even distant relatives, just as Dorrit Bergeman had always suspected. For years she pored over her adoption papers, desperately searching for information about her true identity. But instead, she found forgeries, irregularities and lies.
On another file, I see another signature, also from her father, Slamet. And you can see they totally don't match at all. I showed it to everyone, you know? You can see it yourself. And they say, but a Dutch judge looked at it. Then it is all right. Even my mother said it. I showed it to her, but she didn't want to believe it.
Over the years, Dorrit has met many other adoptees in the Netherlands. Most have similar discrepancies in their adoption paperwork. Among them is lawyer Dewi Dejle. She helped convince the Dutch government to set up a commission to investigate. The commission's report has now been published and reveals shocking abuses in cases of international adoption from Brazil, Colombia, Indonesia, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh before 1998. It lists cases of baby farms, human trafficking and forged documents.
They confirmed what we are saying for years now. And perhaps I also was hoping that they would say, well, it was not so bad. But now it's actually a confirmation that it is very bad.
Dewi Dejle now represents a group of adoptees who demand that the Dutch state funds their research for their biological parents. For now, the government has admitted its mistakes, turning a blind eye for too long.
The state did not do what was expected of it. It should have been more active in preventing this abuse. This is the painful truth. Apologies are needed, and therefore today, on behalf of the Cabinet, I apologize to those impacted.
The report warned today's adoption system is still vulnerable to dubious practices and proved so damning it prompted the government to suspend international adoptions. Dewi Dejle's adoptive mother welcomes the decision. She trusted the Dutch authorities when she adopted her daughter.
Maybe her biological mother is still searching for her. We never knew what was going on. Excuse me. It makes me really sad to know there might be someone out there still looking for their child. It's a terrible thought. Imagine, you take your daughter to daycare, and when you come to pick her up, they say they've given her away to someone who can take better care of her.
Since the 1970s, around 40,000 children have been adopted from abroad into Dutch families. The investigative report shows how private intermediary organizations profited from the adoptions and partook in abuses. Several of these organizations refused our interview requests. For those affected, this comes as no surprise.
In average, especially in the peak periods, let's say in the 80s, 90s, there were approximately $2.5 billion a year was turning over in intercountry adoption. That's an industry, right? Are you going to tell me that we could not have used a percentage of this money to help the families in these countries? I don't believe so. I think we could have helped them all.
Today, Dorrit and Miriam are both happily married and have children of their own. But the idea that they may have been kidnapped or sold still haunts them. Their adoptive parents had to pay several thousand euros in placement fees to make the adoption happen. Dorrit and Miriam grew up believing that their biological parents were poor, sick and unable to feed their children. They say looking for the truth can be a painful process.
Are you ready to know that you won't find them? That also your papers are false? If you are ready for that, then I would say go. If you're not ready, don't do it. Because it's only painful for you. And well, we are 40 years old, and in Indonesia the people won't get really old. So maybe they are already dead, maybe. So, and if you're happy now, you can choose for it to stay happy.
Dorrit and Miriam have given up their search for their relatives in Indonesia. Those fundamental questions about their heritage, origins and ancestors may never be answered. But what remains is a common history, their life in the Netherlands, and their promise to always support each other as sisters.